Hi, thank you for visiting my RC channel. My name is Bill and I'm an RC radio control enthusiast, and I also do RC reviews. Thank you for joining me for this review of this FrSky or FrSky Taranis X9 Lite Pro URUAV edition radio control transmitter. Supplied courtesy of Banggood.com to review and share with you. Comes packaged like this. Big gimbal stick protectors. A crumpled piece of paper with some information on, but not an instruction manual. These stickers or decals. And this currently only comes in this purple color. Now the good thing about this is that it comes with the new access protocol that I'll get more into shortly. Has Hall sensor gimbals. I can feel a ratchet on it. Smooth, spring loaded. And a different form factor than this earlier version of the FrSky X Lite that I find very good for flying micro quads and whoops, and smaller than the Taranis QX7. Which does feel a bit bulky, but a good radio control transmitter. But this does feel better. Nice grips behind here. It's a plastic. It looks as though it's almost waterproof, but also looks quite durable. Just not sure about this plastic hook here for a neck strap. And the scroll wheel here is a new design, which looks interesting and good. Got two-way switch here, three-way switch here, three-way switch here, three-way switch here, momentary switch here. One dial less than the Taranis QX7, but this does hold and click on the center. This takes two 18650 lithium-ion batteries that go into here, but does not come with this, so you would need to get this separately, and you need the ones with the button on top, not the flat top, and you'll probably also need a charger. Power it on here. And by default, this comes with the OpenTX system, but also comes with the new FrSky TX system too. This also has 24 channels, a faster baud rate and lower latency with a high-speed module digital interface, and provides a more secure link between the remote controller and a model using a new different binding method. Press here, we get the menu and can page through. And if we select menu again, page and then scroll here, we can scroll through the setup options. And here we can see access mode, and if I press down on the scroll wheel here and then move across, can also select ACC ST D16 mode, and also put the mode off. Channel range 1 to 16, and this can also take an external RF module, like this R9M, and can exit using the exit button. So this is mainly to use the new access protocol, but good that it's still backwards compatible with ACCST D16 too. And the recommended receivers for this are the RXSR, the RX6R, the RX6R, RX4R, and GRX6. But I believe that the RXSR, the XM, XM Plus, and RX8R Pro receivers are still to be included. And the access features are still being developed, but the great feature of this is that it allows wireless firmware and configuration. You don't have to press a bind button on a receiver once it's registered to the radio controller, and there are still firmware updates and configuration updates to be released. Unfortunately, at this time, if you look at the FrSky website here, this model still does not appear, and so there are no firmware updates or SD card contents to be able to be downloaded at this stage. And I'm not sure if the new Lite non-pro version software is compatible for this at this stage either. This also has a ISRM module, which should give us about a 40% plus increase in range and telemetry. Underneath here, we've got a DSC port, micro USB port, micro SD card slot, a smart port, and a head jack port. You can also get an internal charging module that you can fit onto this, and here's a picture that will enable you to charge through the micro USB port, but I'm quite happy to open this and just change out the batteries. It's quite quick and convenient. But if you get a silicone cover for this at a later stage, it might be easier and more convenient to charge via the micro USB port. So onto the access protocol. What does this new access protocol offer? So first of all, it can register to more than one radio controller if a receiver is registered to it. A craft can be bound to different radio controllers, so it's easy to share too. You can also remap the channel order on this if your receiver was plugged into the wrong input. You can configure telemetry up to 3 receivers simultaneously through the radio without having to use STK tools and SmartPort. And press here and page through to tools. This also has this spectrum analyzer to measure the power, noise and distortion of the frequencies around, and also the RF power of external devices. This also has a higher encryption to reduce signal interference, an operating voltage range of 6 to 8.4 volts. This backlit LCD resolution is a 128 by 64 pixels. The internal memory supports up to 60 models and is expandable with a micro SD card too, and supports wired training. I'm surprised though that this is still not capable of wireless training, but perhaps this will be included in one of the future updates. Has haptic vibration alerts and voice speech outputs. But the big thing and the main feature with this is to be able to bind 2 receivers without having to access a bind button, and all you need to do is power on a receiver, go into access mode. It will then detect the receiver and you register it on the radio controller. So you can tuck a receiver away once it's installed without having to have access to the bind button, and be able to bind with it if you do need to. So as this is still really in a development stage, there'll be more functions and features to come and to share, and in my future reviews you'll be able to see how I bind with this and also how I use these functions and features. So please subscribe, like, comment and share if you like my videos.